Hey guys, want to make a short video, or relatively short for you, and I want to discuss something that I'm a little surprised nobody else has made a video on. That is tier lists in Old World Blues. Now, this game is not, I don't want to say it's unbalanced, but I don't think it's very balanced for comp, in the sense that there's not really a ton of different, power players, right? For the most part, there's very small countries that, can expand, do their own thing. And each one is very unique and very interesting to play as, which is why I love playing it. But I'm not sure if it would be, as competitive, maybe, as normal Hearts of Iron can be. When I say tiers now, I'm not really going to be like, oh, which one's better exactly per country, because, of course, we all know which one's going to be the big power players. We're talking New California, Caesar's Legion, and as we see with their newest expansion in Mexico, the AIs would clearly, I think, be some of the top players of there, especially starting out. However, I want to go over each sort of faction, each sort of choices they can make. Because something I really like about this mod is it gives you a lot of different options and a lot of different ways to play some different countries. Now, the first I'm going to go over is New Reno. Oh, first of all, by the way, I'm going to have the link to the mod and the mod's Discord in the description. Hype for the new update they're coming out with. Devs are coming out with a brand new update, mainly concerning this sort of region, the weird, creepy tribes. It seems very intriguing to me what they've shown. Some very Lovecraftian stuff, sort of aesthetic if you're into that. Anyways, first one I'm going to get into is New Reno, because New Reno, personally, is one of my favorite ones to play as. Now, don't mind the Enclave, by the way. The Enclave there is a sub-mod that I've installed. Some fun thing to play as, but really, if you're playing vanilla, quote-unquote, Old World Blues, you're going to be playing as New Reno, if you want to do the Enclave. Spoilers, by the way, even though you're going to be able to see, the entire focus tree when you load into the game, going to really hint at what you can do, there will be kind of focus tree spoilers in here if you care about that. But if you just want to know what's going on, by all means, continue. And of course, you're going to be able to see the effects. You just hover over them. This is mainly for new players. I want them to more be comfortable with, how to play certain countries, such as New Reno. Like I was saying, New Reno gives you a lot of different options, and these options genuinely do feel the same. Feel different, my bad. So first you go through little starter things, then you have to choose who do you want to take over New Reno. If you played Fallout 2, you know there are a ton of different factions and a ton of different families that want to take over. You have the Salvatores, who, again, spoilers for Fallout 2, and ended up being revealed to have been working with the Enclave. You have the Wright family, who just kind of seem pretty white trashy, kind of, to be honest, in Fallout 2. You have the Bishops, who, I don't know if it's canon, per se, that in Fallout 2, your main character has an affair with one of the mob bosses and has this guy as his son, so I think you're playing as Fallout 2 character's son. And you have the Mordinos, who, is a cartel, Mexican cartel. By the way, I really like how they reworked the family in here, because instead of it just being like a bunch of kind of like, trashy sort of like, bum mafia, they're sort of made to be a more like refined one, a more like evangelical one that's like, hey, we don't do drugs a huge amount, which is, what's shown. They set up speakeasies, for God's sakes. They're like, all right, no more crime, no more degeneracy for the most part. We're going to bring in super mutants to, patrol you all, which ends up biting them in the ass later. Again, spoilers. So each one, first of all, I just want to put out there right now, if you think that any other one other than Salvatore's is, top tier, I don't know where you're coming from. I really don't. I think that Salvatore's top tier is personally my devout opinion. First of all, it's because I'm a major Enclave fanboy. I 100% will admit that. But also because when you're the Enclave, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to research advanced things, which I think can give you a major, major boost, especially late game. Because late game is when you're probably going to be able to take on, NCR maybe, clean up locals for now, and just then later on, when you have very high-quality power armor units, try to, mop up California. Because they, at most, will be able to get to this part of the technology tree. Meanwhile, you will be able to get up to here. And that's not even talking about some of the things you can only unlock as the Enclave, or maybe not entirely, but it's something you can only unlock as New Reno's Enclave, as New Reno, if that kind of makes sense. Because if you progress through Salvatore's, what you end up doing is you end up inviting an Enclave takeover, which is then gives you access to the American PMC focus tree, which not only gives you a ton of free cores all over Nevada, which is really good. You also get vertibirds as support vehicle. I'm not sorry, not support vehicles, as support aircraft, which very good. I'm pretty sure the best support vehicle. God, what is wrong with me? The best support aircraft you can get in the game. One that you can't even research manually. It has to be taken through a focus tree. Now I think those second. Oh, by the way, just so you are fully aware, when you do Salvatores, what you're going to want to do to invite the Enclave is do Sergeant Granites, which is the only option you can do. These don't matter, to be honest. Each one's kind of cool, but it really matters what you're going for. If you're going for vehicles or robots and stuff like that. The only real way you could, I believe, mess up is if you do Mutant Technician, which will not give you an Enclave takeover. So what you're going to want to do is Enclave Technician, Sergeant Grant's Defense Company, calling in old allies, and that will give you access to the PMCs and will also make you the Enclave officially. Again, this is a sub-mod. This is not in the normal game, so really you won't have to deal with the, giant, not even giant, the Enclave, the deadly nonetheless, but small Enclave force that's on your territory. Now, the second tier I would personally pick is Mr. Bishop, because, well, that ends up having you get the option to just straight up join into NCR's faction. Now, that's a hit or a miss in my opinion, because for the most part, if you're playing as if you have AI as New California, I've seen these guys just eat shit some games. Like, they were literally unable to take out the Baja Mexico, which I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce the BAGA. I don't know. I'm pretty stupid, so maybe I'm wrong. But that's really, really bad. So if they take forever, they'll declare war on the Scorpions or on the Rapids, or maybe the Western Brotherhood will attack them, or all three for that matter. I've seen that happen. And it's been a nightmare because I was kind of planning on working with them as New Reno. If that happens, you're kind of screwed. Because while the other ones get a bunch of solo benefits, one of the main benefits you get is not only you're really good at vehicle warfare, but, well, being in a faction with the NCR. If they're stomping and if they're winning in a game, then yeah, you're top dog because who is going to really challenge you with them? At most, maybe the Troll Warren could fight their way down here and maybe attack you? I don't know. That's kind of debatable on that. I've never really seen that happen while Troll Warren is AI because they do not have a focus to come down this far. But either way, just in case you have, one of the biggest power players potentially on the map working with you. Now, the third I'm going to choose is calling in the family with the right family. Now, weird. This is kind of weird. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on the subreddit for this, which, again, I will link in the description. But there's been a bug for me where even though I have unlocked Thrad after going New Reno Police Department, doing Thrad's Immortals, and then Mutant Technician, even after I do that, it won't give me access to Thrad's army. I don't know if that's an issue with my part, or if the game's kind of glitched, or they might have patched it by now. I haven't played Thrad in a minute. Now, the thing with Thrad is, unlike American PMC, you don't get a lot of solo benefits. Unless, that is, you end up getting not only Vault City to be mutant, which, to be honest, I'm not sure. It's not going to show me out the door if, what they're going to choose. But Vault City can choose mutants. I will be covering Vault City next, by the way, because that is, again, really, really one you can choose a lot of different paths in, which is really cool. If you work with Troll Warren and Vault City, and both of them are still alive and both mutant, that's pretty good. Because if you work together with them, what you get a research slot from Vault City, and you get basically free factories. Granted, even if you get all those, to be honest, I don't think it's nearly as good as the Enclave. You get more manpower, you get a free, very good, Grand Marshal. You get free factories, even with this, vertibirds, and yeah, you just get a bunch of stuff, as opposed to this one that honestly is, kind of iffy. At most, you get, like I said, a research slot, few factories. This, I'm blanking on what it is. I think that pretty much means, you start your own faction, kind of like this, where you work with Vault City. But, again, could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. And then you go to war with Ario, New California, and West Brotherhood, which, by the way, I have never been in a position where I am able to do that as Thrad. Again, I'm not huge at the game. I'm not very good which is why I don't play competitive, but that's just me. Now, the fourth and bottom tier is 100% going to be more dinos. While it's kind of cool if for RP reasons, if you want to just make your own, like, drug dealing territory where you just have a bunch of druggy empire, if you have, like, a drug addict empire, that's pretty cool, and I'm really glad they gave us that option, but realistically, it's just not good. At most, you get a little bit of a recruitable population, war support and stuff. You get easier support equipment, which I've never had an issue producing, and you get another research slot, and that's pretty much it. You get access to the Hellhammers, which again are just not as good compared to literal Enclave power armor tanks, vehicle warfare, and giant super mutants. These guys just don't match up nearly as well. It gives you more demolition equipment and max entrenchment, which entrenchment's okay, especially if you're going to be doing this since it's a defensive sort of path, but demolition equipment, that's just not very good. And with this one, as well as the Roaring Bears, you can choose Mutant Technician or Enclave Technician. It really doesn't matter because you don't get you don't have to go towards one in particular. You don't have to have a NCR takeover or a, Mordino takeover like you would with the Enclave and the Super Mutants. So ultimately, I'm going to go number 1, Salvatore, number 2, Mr. Bishop, number 3, Wright, and number 4, Mordinos. Don't do Mordinos if you're playing multiplayer and you're in danger, unless you're going to get carried by someone else. Genuinely don't. So, for my second country, what I'm going to be doing is covering Vault City. Now, this one is very interesting. I think not only is the lore pretty interesting about this one, how it's, a vault city, or, of course it's a vault city, sorry. It's a vault that, became a city, and then just got really messed up to the point where they have slaves and stuff like that, but are like, oh, it's not slaves, technically. Interesting thing, interesting sort of, place. Now, while this one does have some interesting choices, it's not as flexible as, say, New Reno, and that's because you really don't have these mercenaries that spice things up as much, military-wise. So here you're going to have 4 choices, like New Reno, as to who takes over, which is you're going to have the Mole, the Old Ways, Courtyard Crackdown, and Ghoul Conferences. The first being Ruler, the second being Intellectual, the third being Elite, and the fourth being Democratic, if you care about ideology. So, pretty much what you're going to get is not only these choices, but you're also going to get another choice later in the focus line. Yeah, to be honest, I'm going to tell you right now, the Old Ways and Courtyard Crackdowns, kind of boring, to be honest. Powerful, yeah, perhaps, but still not quite as good. And Reinforce the Old Ways, you get some good bonuses to research, as well as some decent bonuses to population, as well as some military factories, and being able to build more. But it's kind of boring, not gonna lie. Courtyard Crackdown's kind of the same. It's pretty basic. You get that. You get a lot of defensive abilities, and some also good abilities to, like, produce different things quicker. For instance, if you want to do quality, you can do more motorized, more fighters, as opposed to quantity, which is more robots, robot support, power armor, and infantry. And that's a little surprising, to be honest. You would have thought that power armor would have been under quality, but whatever. Usually what I do is I go down under the thumb of the mole, because I find that more interesting, which is apparently a mole from Fallout 2. I kind of remember it, called the Brain, which is, I'm pretty sure, Pinky and the Brain reference. I think maybe that was before that. If I'm stupid, again, I'm stupid. But it's a mouse, it's called the Brain, so I'm going to assume that's a reference to a different mouse that also was called the Brain. What that guy does, pretty much, is he takes over and he starts enslaving everyone. This gives you a pretty good non-core manpower bonus, which, in all honesty, is not that useful, non-manpower bonus, seeing how even in the base mod of Old World Blues, you get the ability to, like, create new cores. But still, pretty good. Plus 15% is nothing to turn up your nose at. Loyal Citizens, which gives you more populations in your cores, which is very good with a free 3%. You also get one of two things, which is Human Breeding Program and Mutant Supremacy. Human Breeding Program gives you a decent amount of monthly population bonus. However, Mutant Supremacy, let me double check exactly what that is. As you can see under the War Technologies, you can look over a lot of these. One of them is mutant supremacy, which is plus 5% soft attack and defense for your super mutant. So it's pretty good. Not bad. Not insane. I honestly have never gone down ghoul conferences, but from the looks of it, it definitely seems like early game it could help you out because it gives you a lot of manpower and 3 extra divisions. It gives you a lot of resources. That is actually quite impressive, the amount of resources you get. And it also gets you 2% recruitable population plus stability, war support, and research speed, which that's more than you get with the intellectual thing, which is interesting. That or gives you same manpower but more construction speed as well as quicker training time, which is terrible. Choose old world ideas from the look of it. Choose old world ideas from the looks of it. I am sorry, everyone. I am terrible. The rest of it really is pretty easy, in the sense that there's not a lot of choosing. You just, go down different focuses to get you different people to kill. You go on different ones to give you factories, as well as different, abilities. Mattering how you choose with these, how you want to choose your servants, or how you want to treat your servants. Sorry. Security Council, yeah, you gotta research stuff like that. And honestly, these are the only 2 that are big in the vanilla. I have a submod that adds in something for Yakuza. I might make a video on the mods if you want me to. Something I definitely do want to cover if I cover submods is the Enclave. That's honestly one of my favorite submods to play as. And I'm going to cover other big power players, but mainly I wanted this one to be for beginners. People are getting introduced to this mod because I think these 2 are very, very good to start as. It gives you a lot of wiggle room, gives you a lot of easy neighbors to strike down on, unless, of course, you have the Enclave submod, which in that case, to be honest, not that hard dealing with the Enclave. If you don't know how to deal with them in the submod, it happens literally every game. The Enclave is AI. Is just bait the Enclave to move a unit out of Seer Army Depot, take that city, and you win. They have no other cities. I definitely do want to cover the new expansion. I do want to cover some down south that I'm more familiar with the Mexican expansion. But I just want to make this episode 1 because not only is there going to be a lot to cover, but also my computer has like 38 gigabytes left. I have a very bad hard drive. I'm sorry, people. I'm going to make a second one coming up. First one, like, comment if you want, subscribe, or don't, or tell me to kill myself in the comments. Either way, it's cool. This is the end of episode 1 of Fallout. Episode 1 of Big Boss having a stroke. Episode 1 of Fallout Old World Blues meta. Or tiers. I don't know what I'm going to call this. Sorry. I'm bad at making videos. Please don't judge me. Actually, do in the comments. It'll give me more clicks. See you guys later. Bye.